the book of Isaiah, and where it said, "He was led like a sheep to the slaughter, as a lamb before the shearer is silent, so he did not open his mouth. In his humiliation he was deprived of justice. Who can speak of his descendants? And for his life was taken away from the earth." And the Ethiopian said, "I don't know who this is talking about." And the Lord provided this guy named Philip. And Philip said, "The one it's talking about is Jesus Christ. He died for us. He was buried, and he rose from the grave." And he was telling about the death, the burial, and resurrection, just like the baptism is pictured. And as they traveled along, it says, the Ethiopian asked Philip, "Tell me, please, who is this prophet talking about? Is he talking about himself or somebody else?" And Philip began with that very passage of Scripture and told him the good news about Jesus. As they traveled along the road, they came to some water. This wasn't on a Sunday. It wasn't in front of a church. They just came to some water as they were traveling along the road. And the Ethiopian said, "Look, here's water. Why shouldn't I be baptized?" And he gave orders to stop the chariot. Then both Philip and the Ethiopian went down into the water, and Philip baptized him. See, this spiritual journey is a personal thing, and it's not doesn't have to do with joining a church. Scripturally, it doesn't have to do with joining a club. It doesn't have to do with anything more than before the witnesses who are present, if there's one or if there's many. As Haley is saying before y'all, she is identifying with the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and she's continuing that spiritual journey. One last thing, and then I'll shut up because I didn't want to preach. But when the Israelite people came to that spot and they were caught up and the sea was in front of them, they couldn't go across the sea, then they were like, what are we going to do? Because the Egyptians were trying to catch up to them. They were feeling like they were going to die in that very spot. But when those waters parted and they went across, when the Egyptians tried to come through that sea, then the waters came back down and they drowned in that sea. Their horses, their chariots, there's even been chariots found at the bottom of the Red Sea today. The evidence of this is all over. And what baptism is for us also is likened to that. Why? Because when you walk through these waters of baptism, the past is behind you. And it can't catch up to you anymore. There's something spiritual about all the pictures Jesus gave to us. And as we walk through the waters of baptism, it's like the promised land is opened up, and the journey is not going to be easy. It's still through the wilderness, but He will provide for us and He'll guide us. But the past is behind us completely. Are you cool in the water? You might need to. We have to turn it up. All right, well, let's have prayer, and then we'll have a couple of you guys, or maybe Father and Son or whatever, come up here if you can help with the arms there.